Have you ever felt like the world is closing in on you? Not all at once, but slowly, one judgment, one failure, one careless comment at a time. You're not weak. You've just been strong for too long. You keep standing, you keep trying. But some days it feels like even standing still takes everything you've got. If that sounds familiar, this isn't just another video. This is a compass, a way back to yourself. We live in a time when shouting is louder than thinking, when everyone has an opinion and kindness often feels like a risk. You don't need to fight the world. You need a new way to walk through it, calmly, clearly, and unshaken. That's where Stoicism begins, not as an escape, but as a return to your center, to your clarity, to your quiet power. The ancient Stoics won't teach you how to win arguments. They'll teach you how to win yourself back. Today, you're not learning how to survive. You're learning how to stand still in the storm and still see the stars. Have you ever wished for a superpower? Not to fly or become invisible, but to stay calm when everything is falling apart. To walk through chaos and not be pulled under. To carry peace inside you, even when the world feels like war. That power exists. It doesn't roar, it doesn't shine. It waits deep within you. Stoicism isn't about becoming untouchable. It's about becoming unshakable. It doesn't silence the storm. It teaches you how to build shelter within it. When others react in anger, you respond with reason. When the world spins, you stay centered. When people try to wound you, you choose not to bleed. That's not magic, that's mastery. It's the kind of strength no one can hand you, and no one can take away. You don't need to change the world to be free. You only need to stop letting it govern your peace. Stoicism isn't an old idea. It's a living map, and today, you'll follow it across 10 paths to become not just who you are, but who you are when the world no longer shakes you. Has someone ever shouted at you, not because you did something terrible, but because they didn't know what else to do with their pain? A coworker explodes, a friend lashes out. Your instinct, defend, retaliate, escape. But Marcus Aurelius, an emperor, a warrior, a philosopher, didn't see anger as something to fear. He saw it as a wounded child, wearing armor too heavy for its size. He wrote, "When someone does wrong, they believe they're doing right. Not to excuse, to understand." Imagine you're in the office. A colleague snaps at you over a minor mistake. Their voice is loud, their face is red. But instead of meeting fire with fire, you pause. You see beneath the outburst, exhaustion, fear, maybe guilt. You don't absorb the chaos, they do. You become the mirror that reflects calm, not conflict. Marcus wasn't teaching surrender. He was showing us power. The power to respond instead of react. The power to hold space instead of holding grudges. Compassion isn't weakness. It's the strength to remain rooted even when someone else is unraveling. And when you do that, you don't just protect your peace. You offer others a path back to their own. Some people enter your life like a cold wind, complaining, criticizing, pulling your spirit down. And over time, their words begin to echo inside you. You start to wonder, what if they're right? But Epictetus, a man born into slavery who later taught emperors, offered a truth as sharp as it is liberating. It's not what happens to you that hurts. It's how you choose to see it. You can't control what others say. You can't stop the judgment, the sarcasm, the noise, but you can choose whether or not to carry it with you. Imagine this. Your mind is a temple. Some people arrive with dirt on their feet. You get to decide, will you let them in, or will you ask them to stay at the gate? Epictetus doesn't teach you to ignore the world. He teaches you to own your inner world, so fully, so fiercely that no insult can make a home inside you unless you invite it. When you stop reacting to everything, you start choosing what matters. You become less like a leaf tossed in the wind and more like a mountain. Silent, steady, unmoved. Have you ever felt like you're in a battle you never chose? Not with fists, but with glances that cut. Not with weapons, but with words whispered just loud enough to hurt. You stay calm, you stay kind, and somehow they take that as weakness. But Seneca, a man who walked the tightrope of Roman politics, understood this better than anyone. He taught, kindness isn't for them, it's for you. When someone throws cruelty your way, the world tells you to strike back. But Seneca whispers a different strategy. Not to surrender, but to stand so still, so sure, that the poison slides right off your skin. The person attacking you, they're likely carrying wounds you can't see. Their words are not about you. They're echoes of battles they've already lost. Kindness is not passive. It is the quiet strength of someone who has chosen not to let the darkness in. It's a wall of warmth that shields your peace. Not because you're trying to please everyone, but because you're not willing to become like them just to survive them. Seneca wrote, "The strongest person isn't the one who strikes back, but the one who stays unmoved in the face of chaos." And that strength, it's already inside you, waiting to be used, not as a sword, but as a shield. Picture a storm, a real one. Wind screaming, trees snapping, people running for shelter. But right at the center, there's silence. That calm space where everything pauses, even just for a moment. That silence? Cato the Younger lived there. A Roman statesman surrounded by corruption, betrayal, and chaos. Cato didn't escape the storm. He simply refused to let it inside him. Think about the last time you were pulled into a whirlwind, a toxic argument, an unfair boss, a family fight that turned ugly. Your pulse quickened, your voice rose, you wanted to win, to defend, to say the thing that would sting back. But what if, instead, you chose stillness? Cato believed true power wasn't in how loudly you responded, but in how deeply you stayed grounded. He practiced breathing like it was battle strategy, each breath pulling him back to center, back to a place no storm could reach. When you slow down in the middle of the rush, you don't lose your edge. You sharpen it. You stop reacting. You start responding with clarity, not chaos. You don't need to silence the world. You just need to find your stillness and carry it with you. The world doesn't knock. It barges in, with headlines screaming fear, with strangers shouting opinions, with notifications that never stop blinking. And in the middle of all that noise, you just want stillness. Zeno of Citium, the father of Stoicism, knew that kind of chaos well. He didn't try to tame the world. He built something stronger, a fortress of peace inside himself. Imagine your mind as sacred ground, not a battlefield, not a billboard, but a quiet citadel with high walls and open sky. You don't let everyone walk through its gates. You don't allow every insult, every piece of gossip, every bit of bad news to set up camp in your thoughts. You choose what enters. You become the gatekeeper. Zeno didn't teach isolation. He taught sovereignty. He reminded us that not every voice deserves an audience, and not every problem needs your piece as payment. Next time the world tries to rush in, pause, breathe. Remember, your calm is not public property. It's a private garden. And once you've built that garden strong enough, you'll no longer fear the chaos outside. Because the world may shake the walls, but it can't touch the core. Have you ever been humiliated in front of others? A sharp comment, a public correction. You feel your face burn not just with embarrassment, but with rage. In that moment, you want to hide or fight back. But Musonius Rufus, exiled, persecuted, yet unbroken, offers something radical. You are not what just happened. You are how you choose to carry it. Rufus taught that your emotions don't belong to your environment. They belong to you. And just because a storm rises outside doesn't mean it has to rise within you. Picture this. You're in a room. Someone throws words like knives. You don't step into the storm. You stand at the center of it, protected by a quiet awareness. You breathe. You create space. You don't run from the emotion. You simply don't become it. Musonius didn't teach numbness. He taught sovereignty of the soul, the ability to feel, to recognize, and still remain grounded. When you separate your reaction from the chaos, you're not avoiding the world, you're refusing to let it rewrite the script of your inner life. And in that pause, you become something most people never learn to be: free. Some words hit like stones. They don't bleed you, but they bruise you deep. You're not good enough. You're too much. You'll never make it. They echo, they linger. Sometimes they stay longer than the people who said them. But Crispus, a Stoic voice often lost in history, reminds us, words only hurt when we hand them the knife. Someone throws an insult at you. That insult is like a package wrapped in someone else's pain, fear, or ignorance. You don't have to open it. You don't have to carry it home. Crispus didn't say, don't feel. He said, feel, then choose. Choose what you let in. Choose what gets to live in your head and shape your story. Imagine your mind as a shield, polished, clear, and firm. Cruel words come flying and slide right off, because you've trained yourself to recognize what belongs to you and what doesn't. You reclaim the power to define who you are, not based on someone else's opinion, but on your own truth, lived and known. And when you do that, you rise above the noise, not because you're better, but because you're free. The world is addicted to outrage. Everywhere you turn, someone is offended, provoked, triggered. You're expected to react, to take sides, to prove yourself. But Epictetus, born a slave, later revered as a philosopher of freedom, taught a quiet rebellion, indifference, not coldness, not apathy, but a calm refusal to let the meaningless disturb the meaningful. He didn't say, don't feel. He said, feel what's yours. Let go of what isn't. When someone throws negativity your way, a coworker's complaint, a stranger's insult, a passive-aggressive jab, you don't have to pick it up. You don't have to wear their bitterness like a coat. Wise indifference is choosing where your energy goes. It's seeing drama and choosing not to audition. It's hearing noise and choosing not to echo it. Epictetus gave us a simple test. Can you control it? If yes, act. If not, release. And when you master that, you stop being a puppet pulled by every string of reaction. You become the one holding the threads, calm, clear, in control. Because the moment you stop needing to respond to everything is the moment you begin to respond only to what truly matters. Your peace is not lost. It's leaked, drip by drip, through every unwanted opinion, every sudden demand, every moment you didn't mean to give away. Seneca, who survived the chaos of Roman politics and the cruelty of emperors, understood this better than anyone. Peace doesn't happen. It's something you must protect. He didn't mean hiding from the world. He meant choosing what gets to enter. Picture your mind as a quiet sanctuary, a walled garden, still, bright, alive. Now imagine an invisible wall around it, not cold or distant, but wise and selective. When someone brings negativity, they don't get to step in. When the noise of the world grows loud, you decide how much of it crosses your threshold. Seneca taught that we're not victims of chaos. We're often hosts to it. We open the door, we invite it in, but we can also close it. Being kind doesn't mean being available to everything. Being compassionate doesn't mean sacrificing your clarity. Your inner world is sacred. And just because the world is knocking doesn't mean you have to answer. There are days when your light feels dim, not because it's gone, but because the world has been blowing cold wind at you. Non-stop. Judgment. Rejection. Noise. 1,000 tiny gusts trying to put out what keeps you warm. But Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who ruled not just Rome, but himself, left us a quiet truth. You can't control the wind, but you can build a glass lantern around your flame. Inside you is a fire. It's not always bright, but it's yours. You feed it with hope. You protect it with silence. You guard it with boundaries. Every insult that doesn't move you, every failure you rise from, every moment you choose dignity over noise is a breath that keeps the flame alive. Marcus didn't ask us to shine all the time. He asked us not to let the world decide when we go dark. You don't need permission to keep glowing. Even in the night, especially in the night, your light is needed. So when the world howls, stand still. Cup your hands around the fire. And remember, you are not here to burn out. You are here to burn steady. The world won't get gentler. It will stay loud, unpredictable, often unfair. People will still misunderstand you, test you, judge you. But now, you are no longer the same. Because now you know, you are not someone's anger. You are not a careless comment or a passing storm in someone else's sky. You are the stillness beneath it all. You've learned to guard your peace like a temple, to build invisible walls not of fear, but of clarity, to hold your flame steady, not to impress the world, but to stay yourself when the world forgets who you are. Stoicism isn't a shield that makes you cold. It's a compass that keeps you warm. And oriented when everything else spins. You don't need to win every battle. You don't need to shout to be heard. You only need to live without betraying the calm truth inside you. Every moment you pause instead of react, every breath you take before speaking, every time you choose strength over noise, you are walking the Stoic path. It's not a quick fix. It's not easy, but it's real. It's yours. The chaos won't stop, but from now on, neither will your peace.